and welcome. Thanks for joining us. I know we're competing with the What's New in Accela Automation 7.3 session next, so I threatened Daryl that I was going to run over, but I probably shouldn't do that. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for joining. How many of you know what we're doing with Civic Cloud in general? Okay, so I see just a handful. That's what I expected. Maury sort of talked a little bit about it, but didn't go into any level of depth in terms of what we're up to. So I'll give you a brief update, and then we'll have a panel focusing in on the topics around civic engagement. But maybe just a little bit of background first. Maury mentioned yesterday that I joined the company late last year, and please don't hold the fact that I have a marketing title against me. I've been able to do a lot of different things in software. I've been in this industry 25 years. Most of that experience is around the private sector, although I have worked with state, local, and federal governments as well, but I'm learning a ton. But really what I was brought here to do was not make pretty pictures or change the brand, and we've done some of that. I'll tell you about what we're up to. But I was brought here to help the company to better serve agencies of all sizes. And that means, in many ways, industrializing what we've done, finding ways of packaging. And I've seen this movie before in other industries where custom development turns into a configured to needs approach. And that's essentially what we're up to. So I'll talk more about that as we move forward. So I joined in December of last year. And one of the things that we did very, very quickly was take a look at what we do well, what's happening in the market, and obviously take a look at what we can do to do more of that better. The first thing that we had to do as a company was really evaluate the position that we take in the market. Now, it may not make a whole lot of sense to you all, but we're talking a lot about civic engagement. And we decided to establish a purpose for the company. And that purpose revolves around improving governing through civic engagement. Now, I'm old enough to have seen systems of record become systems of engagement in other industries. That's exactly what we see happening. And the fact that all of you manage a lot of your core revenue producing, cash collecting, asset managing processes using Accela gives you an opportunity to systematically extend those processes to the constituents you serve, whether they're businesses, citizens, or agency personnel, or industry experts as well. So that purpose, I think, is a pretty important inspiration to a lot of the investment we made. And you see the little tagline, civic excellence, civic engagement, civic good. There's a reason for that. We have a history of working with folks like you and helping you to really drive excellence in your core operational processes, your core government business processes. Again, by systematically extending those, we believe we can do a lot of good. So that's the simple formula that I've used here to help people kind of understand what the art of the possible is. So we repositioned the company, established different messaging and focus for what we're talking about. But more importantly, we decided to package what we have delivered for many of you for many years in the form of the Civic Cloud. And I'm going to run a very quick video that describes the intent, and then we'll talk about the different layers of what we're doing.
Communities prosper when citizens engage government through mobile devices, apps, social media, and open data. Yet, those capabilities have been out of reach for most agencies because of the cost, resources, and the time it has traditionally taken to deploy applications and technologies. That's all changing. Accela delivers the Civic Cloud, empowering more agencies to serve professionals and citizens in their communities. The complete civic engagement platform includes both tailored and packaged solutions and apps for productivity and citizen and community engagement. The Civic Cloud streamlines and accelerates core civic functions, increasing communication between government agencies and the constituencies they serve. And with affordable pricing and fast deployment, these capabilities are now available for agencies of all sizes. We're creating a vibrant ecosystem of developers and partners to help us innovate and deliver civic engagement solutions and applications. Together, we can tailor or package solutions in just a matter of weeks. By leveraging our platform and Civic ID, our identity management system, citizens and businesses can connect directly to governments whenever and wherever using a single secure login. Accela is the right choice for agencies seeking to improve government and community engagement, for partners building their government businesses, and for citizens looking to have a voice in improving government and their communities. Accela, civic excellence, civic engagement, civic good.
Okay, so you heard a number of things there. Platform, solutions, apps. Maury talked again about this yesterday, but let me talk about each because I think they're vitally important to our business strategy and our ability to serve all of you. It was interesting listening to Chris Thomas this morning talk about the transition from app to platform. Where ArcGIS server installed, configured, managed within, behind your firewall has now moved to being in the cloud and available and supporting all different types of devices. We're going through that same transition. I can't underscore the importance of platform enough. And again, I've seen this in multiple industries. The ability to open up that app to equip developers to not only build, but to manage, to sell, to deploy, to administer the capabilities that they are value adding on top of what is in the platform is incredibly powerful. And I believe that a platform-based business model is the missing link between all the interesting civic innovation that's happening in individual jurisdictions. It's great stuff. But helping developers to bring that to scale by having standard definitions for the APIs, et cetera, gives them the opportunity to serve many more of you. So it's a really important dynamic in the industry moving from app to platform. Now, what was the Civic Cloud? What did we announce on April 23rd? Really, the big news was two things. One is a new set of packaged solutions. So the metaphor that I like to use in terms of the way we've traditionally served all of you is sort of a make-to-order model, where we make Accela automation do exactly what you need to based on everything that you've told us about it. And the great news is you're all unique and you're all very similar. There are some things that can be packaged that do represent best practices. And so what we delivered on April 23rd was 3 packaged solutions around planning and zoning, permitting and inspection, and code enforcement. And we're going to continue to expand that portfolio ourselves and with our partners. Okay? So packaged solution versus tailored solution. Faster deploy, pre-configured, and so essentially you're not starting from scratch. The other thing that I think is vitally important is the extension of the capabilities in those solutions through mobile apps. Right? And so, I think what you've seen, if you've been next door and talked to some of our panelists who will be up in a second, is a great series of apps that systematically extend the capabilities we provide through the platform that are value adding for all of you. So you can expect to see us do a lot more work around enabling more apps to be built. Therefore, you heard the whole discussion about developers and how important that is and what we're doing in terms of open data and standards and so on. Really, really important for us and for this ecosystem of partners who can then better serve all of you. Speaking of packaged solutions, again, land management, you see the number of record types. I won't go into all the details. The plan is to package additional solutions in the December, late 2013 timeframe for both licensing and case management and asset management. And that's great. So, we'll have pretty good general coverage across the major areas, or major modules, if you will, of Accela automation. But we also expect to see a plethora of different apps and solutions coming from partners. I'll talk more about what we're doing to support that in a second. Again, you heard yesterday about role-based UI. But fundamentally, to be able, our business strategy is to continue to expand how well we work with all of you and to serve more agencies and smaller agencies who have typically been very much underserved if you talk about these core civic processes. One of the fundamental, I think, requirements for us to be able to deliver a great set of capabilities to them and to all of you is role-based UI. Because again, they have less ability to send people for training. Just less margin for error. And so role-based UI, new citizen UI, critically important in serving smaller agencies as well. One of the big things, though, is really rethinking how we manage the configuration process. Okay. Again, I've seen this vendor after vendor after vendor in on-premise systems that were typically configured by people who truly know in depth the systems. I'll use the case of SAP. There are 10,000 underlying tables where you have to set switches and do all that kind of stuff. That's fantastic if you know that, those switches and all that capability. Mere mortals don't. So, being able to provide a more business-oriented configuration and more importantly, a configure-to-needs administration is one of the things that Chris's team is beginning to work on as well. So, we're not starting from scratch. We have great capabilities in Data Manager, as an example. We have, the ability to package BPTs and reports and other capabilities. But the idea, the vision, the intent is to start with a package configuration. So say I'm interested in deploying a permitting application, come in, find that permitting configuration, and then to iterate on it, to walk through, to configure fees, to manage processes, to do what I need with workflow, et cetera. It's a different model, but I believe it's really important not only for those smaller agencies, but it's going to make all of you more productive in how you deploy capabilities as well. So this is a very different model for us. It's something we're working on. We'll see, I think, the initial capabilities coming to market early next calendar year. But it's something that we want to make available to all of you. This is a fundamental part of making it easier for partners to build package solutions. I was talking with the City Gov app folks. They're interested in taking the good work they did for Westminster. They did an animal licensing application. I think it was Westminster. Well, they want to be able to provide that to other people. Well, it's not just the app, it's a configuration as well. So the ability to have a package configuration that they can then use to bring an entire solution to folks like yourselves is the vision and the intent, okay? So configured to needs administration, major area of investment, and I think a place we can deliver a lot of value to you. The third major initiative around platform, you heard a fair amount about open data. This is really a place where we can provide you great capabilities and do something different in the market. And I was talking to Peter about this last night. We don't want to be the container of choice for every data set. That's not our business. We want to make it really easy for you to open up your data sets in standard formats and to make them available to developers so that they can build once and deploy many. And more importantly, to be able to bring together interagency data across agencies. Why? Well, think about this for a second. I'm standing in multiple jurisdictions as we speak. As a citizen, whose portal do I go to gather that information? I want to go to a regional view of things and aggregate that information. Or if I want to be able to compare the economic development activity in Palo Alto versus what's happening in Kansas City, I'd like to be able to build an app to do that. Well, that's what we're going to make very easy for all of you. Exposing those data sets, standard definitions, the semantics matter, because if they're described differently, it makes it harder to build the apps on top of them. And we'll make it very easy to federate that data into your open data portal if you happen to have a different container, a Socrata, Junar, et cetera. So we're not trying to go out and compete and be the container. We want to bring value in the data sets themselves, in the multiple agencies being able to expose those data sets, and in the standard APIs that allow people to consume that information. So really a brief update, and there's a lot more here. Anyone who wants to know more about what we're doing at Platform or any of these three areas of innovation, please let me know. Civic Platform and Civic Cloud at large are, I think, important for all of you, whether you're an on-premise customer or not, because we can bring additional capabilities to you much more quickly. From a development cycle point of view, and in terms of innovation, we're not bringing more risk into your environment. Rather, we're iterating and bringing these new capabilities across agencies through the platform.